Good morning. Welcome back to the YouTube channel. Hope you're all well. It's early morning, hence the light in the car is needing to go on. It's dark outside. It's just gone 10 past 6 and we're in to train legs. What a fucking vibe. Anyway, we're 10 seconds in, I'm already swearing, but anyway, I'm gonna roll with the punches. So I'm gonna train legs today. We're at Powerhouse today. I'm gonna crush it. Obviously you've seen in, I think it was a previous video, I've been having a bit of a nagging ankle injury. So I'm gonna take you through that, how I'm managing that. And yeah, we'll try and have a killer leg session as a pro natural bodybuilder in the off season, trying to get huge legs and not let them shrivel. So with that being said, pre-workout's going in the hatch, essential for this kind of hour in the morning. Let's be truthful. At least my eyes I did sleep relatively well, so we're in a good spot. It's a vibe, it's a leg day, let's get hyped. Go in and crush the session. Let's go. Do you hear that? Exactly. No music. It's good when there's no blaring music at this hour. Just the the sound of people groaning in the background. I prefer that than stupidly loud music. Especially when there's, call it half a dozen people in the gym at the minute, so I don't mind it. It's nice, it's quite, I would say, therapeutic. And I'm very excited for this session, knowing that there's, not many people here. Hopefully it doesn't get too busy. Hey Nick, I thought you were training legs. Yeah, well, I am. A bit of delt top-up work to commence the session, as I've done for 3 years now. Side delts is something you can recover quite well, as I've spoken about in numerous videos, but something that you can recover well from. And ultimately, it's not going to impact your lower body training afterwards. You can do the same thing with something like arms. So we're just going to do a double rest pause set. I'll rest now for 30 seconds in between, but another reason I like to do this is because ultimately, as in a one set, is because you can hit failure sort of 3 points within the set, accumulate some volume, and it's time efficient. You know, this should only take me, with some warm-ups, 5-6 minutes, crack on, and we're on to our lower body session. I'm also trying to make it as challenging as possible. What that means is trying to eliminate any sort of trap involvement, all side delt, middle delt. Getting the weight up, controlling the eccentrics, and not needing, major swing, and also not spending huge amount of time in between reps. So keeping it quite continuous, or relatively continuous throughout the set. Oh, yeah. So my delts are pumping that. Anyway, let's crack on. Walked over here, or as I walked over here to the calf raise, or the toe press, or whatever you want to call it, there's a calf raise, a seated calf raise next to it, and there's a guy on it. And he said, and obviously I've got my tripod and camera just sitting here or carrying it across with me. And he was already on that. He said, oh, you like filming and stuff? And I said, yeah. And he said, oh, that's so rude and everything. And I'm like, it's okay, I don't get anyone else in the background. If you don't want to, it's absolutely fine. And storms off and goes on to another machine over the other side of the gym. Crack on, buddy. Mate, seriously, if you're living in this world and you, honestly, I told you I wouldn't get you in the background. If you're seriously that concerned, you got bigger fish to fry. It's fucking 6:30 a.m. and you're that grumpy. Probably says a bit more about yourself, doesn't it? But anyway, I totally understand, and I'm not one of those people that tries to, get everyone in. Like, I don't want to make the camera, the tripod, the focus of the gym. I don't want to get in anyone's way. Absolutely not. If anyone walks through the camera, I don't care. But yeah, it's an interesting one. So let's not get too caught up in that. I've done one set of calf rows, and let's put some more load on and load her up. Right, so I did one high rep set. Let's get this angled slightly more. So as I said, I did one high rep set with 5 plates for 20. In fact, I know I'm going to move up as I do the movement, so I just probably need it bumped up. Anyway, I'm obviously still conscious of my calf. I've got 7 plates total, which is maxed out. But equally, want to load up the calves, but be safe at the same time. So I think doing that set prior definitely helped to at least get some blood into the calf. Nice. I think I really need to find a way, obviously in the coming weeks, coming months, as to how to continue to progressively overload this machine, because it only actually allows 7 plates total loaded, 3 on one side, 4 on the other. So whether it's because I'm already hitting sort of 2 sets in that sort of 10 plus, 12 plus rep range, whether it's like incorporate some bands, I don't know, or alternatively, I just jump to another machine, but I do thoroughly enjoy it, so love to stick with it. Obviously touching on my ankle being a bit of a, how you going, a bit of a high ankle sprain, whatever. I know I spoke about it in the last video, but especially with calf raise, I'm finding that if I'm like almost going up and down, not necessarily having my toes pointed out, it feels a bit better. It makes sense in my mind in terms of having my legs sort of in, I call it train track formation in terms of straight lines, and not, slightly pointed out. And that's where I've had issues with the ankle, is in terms of, because it's on the outside of my left ankle, if my knee, or in whatever movement, whether it's like a leg press or a hack squat, whereas my knee is going and driving through the out, like I'm putting the pressure through the outside of my foot, as opposed to just up and down through the middle of my foot. So anyway, we just work around these kind of things. I'm still able to put some decent load through my calves in this. So I got one more set with all 7 plates on, and then we'll jump over the adductor. Okie dokie, on the adductor. Just warming up here. Get our hips opened up. And we'll try and load it up relatively heavily. What am I saying? I'm just talking shit by this point, aren't I? But I tell you what, this lack there of music, it's just great. Just here's a few plates clinking around, the machine's moving. A bit of zen. Nice, okay. Let's load some weight and then we'll get on to a top set. Right, and you've got this stack plus 25 kilos here, which is a little bit of a jump up. I think it was 22.5 last rotation. So with that being said, we've got some tunes pumping. Been on the Hilltop Woods train lately. Good old Aussie hip hop. Does that sound Aussie? I don't know, fucking Aussie hip hop. It just gives me nostalgia, throwback vibes. That's what I listened to a lot during sort of high school. You know, like, what's the album? What are the albums like? Walking Under the Stars, Drinking from the Sun, State of the Art, that fucking album, and The Hard Road, The Calling. Like, these are fucking 03, 06, 09 albums. Unbelievable. Or Leave Me Lonely. Yep. Some of the hard stuff. Often with these bands where it's nostalgia feels, the newer stuff isn't quite as good. But I'll give I say newer stuff. One was Great Expanse, 2019. Walking Under the Stars was 2014. Anyway, I say that's newer. Okay. Let's get this shit underway. Ooh. 7 reps, nice. All right, let's go back off with this stack. Come on. So all right, so the hammer strength extension is out of order. However, we've got a good alternative. We've got the Flex Fitness leg extension, the pin loaded one. There is the new tech plate loaded extension up the end, but and torture, new tech, whatever. I'm not too fond of that given the resistance profile. I have used it in the past, so up for the Flex Fitness, which I did most recently use at Gym Hub in Boston when we did that post-show session. But anyway, you'd see that the new edition of the Hustler pad down here, bit of foam as opposed to using the mash. Yeah, it's awesome. So I've done a few warm-ups, got the setup right, and I'll see how this feels, and then we'll go up in load for a top set. Like the added range that you get just, so like ordinarily that would probably lock out, whereas I can go all the way down, get really good stretch in the lengthen. Nice. Tell you what, all those for anyone watching Comment down below if you're getting all the Hustler ads for the Hustler pad. It's it get beating me ads on Instagram, so I'm like, fuck it, I just need to buy it, don't I? And it's worthwhile. Just another thing to add to the gym bag collection. Cool. We'll load it up. Got the Hustler pad. We got the seatbelt. We got the straps. Is this overkill? Probably. But you know what? Fuck it. We're gonna get after it. We need bigger quads, so we're gonna do whatever we can to get bigger quads. Okay. Three, two. Hey. Yeah, motherfucker. Come on. Speaking of, I reckon that was too light and I slightly slipped my left foot out. So let's just go up in weight. Let's strap ourselves back in. Take two. Okay. Whether it's I just need to have my whole body further across or have the Hustler pad just in a better spot, because I think the pad is just a bit short on the left-hand side. Anywho. That felt good. Almost glad that I slipped out of that first rep so I could increase the weight there. That felt great. 10 reps. Talking about movements that, don't feel great on the ankle, one of the ones that was probably a little bit surprising was any form of leg curl, lying, seated, sort of caught me off guard. But it makes sense when you think about it. So if you think about any line or seated ham curl, you're flexing typically your toes back towards your body. And you just, even just doing that, you can just feel that strain and pressure through the side of your ankle. Hence why it was causing me some grief on this seated ham curl previously, as well as the line ham curl in the other rotation. So big emphasis here on not necessarily pointing the toes, but more so just driving through my hamstrings a bit more, which is probably going to mean my strength output is slightly reduced. But that is a-okay because I simply can't do what I was trying to load on this previously. I can have some flex to the toe, but not so much that, I'm having to heave it back down and re-wrap. It needs to be quite smooth in order to eliminate significant strain through the ankle. I think I'm just going to stick to the stack. I'm not trying to overkill it, and likely do just a stack for both sets. And really the way I think about it is get the weight down without flexing my ankle too much. If that makes sense. I don't know. That's what I'm trying to do here.
Come on, one more. Come on, squeeze it. Squeeze. Yeah. Yeah.
And obviously, with the left side being the issue, I don't want it such where my right hamstring's taking over. So equally, I'm a bit, conscious of my mind muscle connection, ensuring that my left hamstring is getting as much stimulus as the right, and the right side is not taking over. Because in theory, I'm used to doing a hell of a lot more weight than this, so my right hamstring could, take a bit more of the load. But I'm trying to avoid that at all costs. But anyway, I'll do another set with the same weight, which you don't need to see, and then we'll crack on to the hip press. I have actually done the hip press or this session since I injured my ankle, and it felt decent. In terms of, if I was to analyse, I spoke about a little bit on the last video in terms of how I injured it itself. It wasn't necessarily that isolated incident, but, it might have been an accumulation of things. I think inherently, things like the Cybex hack, whereby I was biasing, the drive up through my toes and the midpoint of my foot, and my heels were actually coming off, elevated from the pad. I think, and then equally, when you think about it, when I'm driving up that first little bit, a lot of the emphasis is being placed through my, around those smaller muscles, around sort of my ankle and foot area, which is going to put some strain on it. And, once you then continuously add load to it, it is potentially going to cause issues. So that's what I'm sort of placing it down to, just an inherent, it's probably almost like an accumulation of stress, strain around that region. So with that being said, how am I rectifying my training at the minute? Yes, I'm obviously being careful and conscious about it. But equally, I feel like I'm not in a position to just totally rest and not train my legs. That's just not in my nature. And I don't think I can sit still in terms of where I'm at the minute. I can still train and still get after it. So look at the bright side. So that's what I'm, throughout the week and the last couple of sessions when I've been on the Cybex hack, I've actually worn squat shoes. And that's what I'll be doing on the hack squat here, and which I've always have here. So that's why I know that it's no issues here. So it alleviates that heel coming off the pad, which is what potentially has caused the issues. So I think it's not and also going back to the injury side of things, is that it's not as if I think this is going to be a 1 or 2 week injury, to be truthful, based on the physio synopsis of last Saturday when I last saw him. He sort of seemed to think this could be a sort of 4 to 8 week kind of injury. It's a high ankle strain. So it's not something that's going to be fixed overnight with a little bit of rest and recovery. So I can just work around it, because the reality is, you tell me to not train legs for 8 weeks, yeah, that's not happening. These legs ain't going to grow themselves. So I know I can get work done in the gym, and I can put in the work and get after it. So sure, my ankle on the outside's a bit sore at the minute, but is that going to stop me from loading up the hip press? Absolutely not. Will I be, still careful about it? Sure. But I still want to load up the quads and get a sufficient stimulus, because ultimately these legs ain't going to grow themselves. So the bands are loaded. We'll do a couple of warm-ups and we'll see what the top set has in store for us. There's no music playing, isn't it? So it's kind of nice when there's no music playing.
Oh, it's
so just chill.
It's so much better.
Yeah, I agree.
So just said this morning, my music's class. So
yeah,
radio,
and it's actually pleasant. The best place to is, so I'll just count down 3, 2, 1 and just pull from there.
Yeah.
And obviously the force with me and will help. Okay. 3, 2, yep. Yeah, perfect. Yeah. Ooh.
Let's go.
Ooh, yeah. Perfect. Thanks, man.
Shit. You did right.
Great. You can hear that. It's just ticked over 8 a.m. aka there's staff here, which means that the music's been playing or just started. I was getting used to the therapeutic nature of just the radio. Maybe I need to make sure I finish my session before 8. Not the radio, just silence. They normally have the radio, but when it's just silence, it's great. So the top set was 4 plates plus 2.5 per side. This is going to be 3 plates plus a 5, so 3.25 per side. 3, 2. Oh. I think of a bit of a pro tip here, if you can even see me. Intro workout. 25 grams highly branched cyclodextrin, 20 grams EAAs, 5 grams creatine, 5 grams electrolyte. The perfect blend of what you want in an intro workout. The additional pro tip on the back of that is to ensure that you finish it, 3/4 of your way through your session, if not earlier, to able to utilize it. There's no point finishing it or drinking most of it on your last exercise, because then you're actually not utilizing the fuel that's in your intro workout. Kind of defeats the purpose of an intro workout, then it turns into a post workout. You get the drift. So the reason I probably hadn't drank it any sooner is because, often first thing in the morning, your stomach's a little bit queasy still, and doesn't digest things quite as well. So hence why I probably spread it out a bit more. So anyway, I have probably a mouthful left, give or take, them on my second last movement. So that's probably the approach that I would suggest. Oh, that's one. As you can tell by that last set with 4.5 plates for 6, it was heavy. A couple of weeks back, maybe 5-6 weeks ago, that was 8 reps. I've been hovering that 6 to 8 rep range with 4.5 plates for a while. I probably just want a little bit extra volume, or test out the waters in terms of volume on my quads. And with that's, I was pondering whether I do, let's say 2 sets with 4 plates, or if I do a set with 4.5 and then a back off with 3.5. And I haven't really done a back off with lighter weight on this for a while. So the aim is just to get some solid work in here. Failure, close to it. But again, I've said in other videos before, often when I talk of volume, less is often more. But when all variables are matched in terms of intensity, execution, stimulus, etc., more is more. Like, that's the reality. You do 2 sets at the same quality as 1 set, 2 sets is obviously going to be better, isn't it? I think I'm at the point in the off season whereby recovery capabilities are quite high. So I feel like I can get after it. So it's probably good wonder that this is the second last movement of the session. This will also test the waters with the ankle with a bit more volume. Felt all right on that top set.
You're so smart.
Okay, that 9 reps. Tell you what, the other rationale, I suppose, for doing a back off with a bit lighter load is to put my ankle in, say, not a compromised position, but get into ranges which I probably couldn't otherwise do with the heavier load. Potentially that would aggravate it a bit further and whatnot, but I'm able to do it with getting good range, good knee flexion, etc. Not compromise the ankle too much. So felt good. Okay, final set, final exercise of the session. 6.5 loaded. Let's do this. You want shredders, fuck glutes on stage? Do your glute drive or hip thrust or whatever you want to call it. 3. Okay. 2. Alrighty, that is the session wrapped. I didn't outro it in the gym because it was getting a bit loud and busy. I just wanted to delve my thoughts. Anyway, that's a wrap for the session. It was a solid one. Now it's light outside. It's gone about 8:30 in the AM, so a bit over 2 hours a session. Probably a little bit longer through virtue of filming and get caught up chatting momentarily. But anyway, it was a very good session for the most part. I think, the synopsis on the ankle in terms of the common areas which, it was sore was, funnily enough, it's the hamstring curl. That's the real doozy and the compromise that I'm having to do in terms of weight wise. But as far as, hack squat, leg press, everything else, no issues. So look on the bright side. Yes, the ankle's not great, but it's improving. It's definitely improved on when I did this session a fortnight ago. So that is a win in my books. But anyway, that's been a lower body session with a pro natural bodybuilder. Let me know what else you'd like to see in future videos. If you have liked the video, please please comment, and stay subscribed to stay up to date with all the latest content. New video every Sunday, 5 p.m, as there has been for the better part of 2 years. I'll catch you in the next one.